Hello everyone and welcome to Tech Dudes. In today's video, we will be diving into Azure Functions with .NET. We will be covering what are Azure Functions, why do we need them in real-time development, types of Azure Function triggers, developing Azure Functions with .NET, and publishing Azure Functions to Azure. What are Azure Functions? Azure Functions are nothing but small pieces of code, just like methods in your application. The key difference is that instead of running it on a traditional server, these pieces of code run in the cloud. In a typical application, you write methods that execute on a server you manage, but with Azure Functions, you don't need to worry about servers at all. Azure takes care of everything for you. All you do is write the code and Azure will take care of the rest. This is why Azure Functions are called serverless. Why do we need them in real-time development? In real-time development, if your application needs to respond instantly to user actions or system changes, Azure Functions make this possible by running code in the real time when a specific events happen, like when data is updated, a file is uploaded or modified, or a scheduled task is triggered, etc. This is super helpful for automating tasks and processing things on the fly. Types of Azure Function triggers. Now let's talk about the different types of triggers that can start an Azure function. There are several types of triggers that can start an Azure function. Here are the main types. HTTP trigger runs your function when it receives an HTTP request. It's commonly used for APIs or webhooks. Timer trigger runs your function at a specific time or on a schedule. It's useful for tasks like running jobs every day or at regular intervals. Queue trigger activates your function when a new message is added to a queue. It's great for handling background tasks like processing orders or sending emails. Block trigger runs your function when a specific file is added or modified in Azure Blob Storage. It's ideal for processing files like images or documents. Now that we have covered the basics of Azure Functions, let's dive into the practical part. In this section, I will show you how to create an Azure Function app in Visual Studio, deploy it to Azure, and verify it in the Azure portal. Before that, let's create Azure Function app in Azure portal. Log into Azure portal and search for Function app. And here click on create. And here we need to select hosting plans. I'm selecting consumption and click on select. And here it is subscription. I already have called subscription called Tech Dudes. And here we need to select resource group. I'm selecting my existing one. And here we need to give function name. I'm giving Azure Function Demo. It is not available. Adding yes. Yes, it is available. And here we need to select runtime stack. I'm selecting .NET and version is 8. Region, here you can select your nearest region. I'm selecting Central US and operating system would be Windows and click on review and create. It is going to perform some validations. Now click on create. In couple of seconds, our function app is going to create. You can see deployment is in progress. Here you can see step-by-step status here. That's it. Our Azure Function app is now created and deployed. You can verify it in Function app. See, our Function app is now created. Now, let's go to Visual Studio. First, open Visual Studio and make sure you have the Azure Development Workload installed. Now follow these steps. Click on Create a new project. And in search for templates, search for Azure Functions. I have here, I'm clicking here and click on next. Here you can provide a name for your function. I'm providing as Azure Functions Demo and click on next. Next, we can select our .NET version. I'm selecting .NET 8.0 and in the function, here you can see a lot of triggers already there, but for the demo purpose, I'm selecting HTTP trigger. And authorization level is function. Just click on next, create. With this step, our Azure Function app is going to create. Now this is our default Azure Function app, and these all are the namespaces, and this is a class, and this function name attribute is nothing but our function name. Here you can mention your function name as per your requirement, and this is the authorization level which we have selected while creating this app. And this get and post are the method types. If you remember, while creating this app, we have selected HTTP trigger, means API or webhooks trigger. And so this function is going to allow only get and post. If you have any other methods, you need to mention here. This is nothing but we are logging a information that trigger is processing a request, and here we are reading values from query string, and here we are reading values from body. Instead of reading query string, we can also read from body also. And whatever the fetched data, we are converting into JSON and storing into the data variable. Here we are validating. If name is available, we are going to assign that value to name. If name is empty, then we are going to check and get the value from data.name, so which is nothing but request body. And here what we are doing, here again we are checking whether name is null or empty. If name is null or empty, we are just going to display this is a HTTP triggered function executed successfully. If name value is available, then we are going to display hello and the name, and this HTTP triggered function executed successfully. Now let's execute and test it. Click on here or else F5. Now if you see, our function app is running and serving through this URL. Copy this URL and go to browser, paste in browser, and here I am passing name through query string. Name equal to TechDudes and click on enter. If you see, TechDudes is printed here. Hello TechDudes, this is HTTP triggered function. And what if we are not providing any query string? Let's verify. Enter. So the first condition, this HTTP triggered function executed successfully. Now we need to pass the data through request body also. Let's do that from Postman. Copy the same URL and open Postman. Here paste the URL and go to body, select raw and JSON. In the JSON, TechDudes and click on send. If you see, hello TechDudes, this HTTP triggered function executed successfully. Now what next? Now we need to publish our Azure Function app from Visual Studio. Let's switch to Visual Studio and stop here. As a best practice, before publishing your application, try to rebuild. Click on build and click on rebuild. Within couple of seconds, our application is going to rebuild successfully. Yes, now our application is rebuilt successfully. Now right click on solution and click on publish. Here you need to select Azure and next. Azure Function app, Windows, next. And here you can see TechDudes it is my resource group. If you observe, earlier we have created our Azure Function app in portal, that is this. In this app we are going to publish our Azure Function app. Select this one and click on finish. With this step, our published profile is going to create. Now our published profile is created. Now just click on publish. With this step, our function app is going to deploy on Azure portal function app. Yes, now our Azure function is deployed successfully. Now if you click on navigate, it will be redirecting you to our Azure function URL. Click on navigate. So this is our default domain URL. Our app is now up and running. Now in Azure Functions, in the bottom you can see our deployed function name is function1. Let's open it. And here you can directly do testing whether our application is deployed or not. Just click on test and run. And here you can give input. I'm giving name, and here I'm giving value as TechDudes. Just click on run. And here you can see the output here. So if you want to test directly with the URL, just get function URL, and here I'm taking default one. Just paste your copied URL here and go to body here. I'm giving a TechDudes test. Click on send. If you see, our dynamic input is here. So with that step, we are validating that our Azure function is deployed successfully. That's it for today's video. If you found it helpful, make sure to like, share and comment. Don't forget to subscribe to TechDudes for more tech content. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.